In the first scene of Sophocles' play, Antigone speaks harshly to Ismene, her sister, not once, but repeatedly. To current tastes, Ismene comes off as a loving, if somewhat timid character, while Antigone appears to be as hard-hearted as she is hard-headed. And yet, Sophocles will not allow us to rest easy with this conclusion. Know this, Ismene tells Antigone as they part. Though you are wrong to go, your friends are right to love you. And this theme is echoed toward the end of Antigone's encounter with Creon. After they spar verbally about which of them is acting justly, Creon tells her, my enemy is still my enemy, even in death. Antigone's response is, my nature is to join not in hate, but in love. So, if Antigone is a model of love, or at least some pure aspect of love, does Creon represent hate? Not at first, it appears. He merely seems to make and attempt to enforce a plausible decision about a difficult situation. But as the play progresses, his commitment to that decision becomes increasingly less defensible. After Creon's contemptuous dismissal of Antigone, partly because she is a woman and he will not be ruled by a woman, his son, Haemon, attempts to minister to him by honoring, or at least tactfully professing to honor, his father's superior age and wisdom, while entreating Creon to consider that he might not be absolutely right in every respect. Creon spurns him entirely, even ridicules him. He subsequently rejects the counsel of the chorus of elders, thereby demonstrating that he's unwilling to learn from women, from younger men, or from older men, in short, from anyone. Step by step, rigid adherence to a one-sided principle in the face of all evidence to the contrary leads Creon to suspect the motives of all those who disagree with him, which is eventually everyone. Thus, Creon moves inexorably from principle to hate. This does not imply that hate is an intrinsic part of his character, as his repentance at the end of the play makes clear. It is rather the unwitting hatred of the person who is self-proclaimedly uniquely right, the pure tyrant whose decree brooks no opposition, solely by virtue of the fact that he regards his view, and only his view, as representing the highest good. So, as we know from our studies at Scheimer, as well as our experiences in life, there are many different views concerning the highest good, if indeed there is such a thing. It can be, and has been argued, that the highest good is purely intellectual. For example, the liberty of the mind. That sort of liberty is without doubt very precious. If you didn't believe in it, you wouldn't be receiving your diploma today. But man does not live by head alone. And any sort of liberty, if taken to a one-sided extreme to the exclusion of anything else, becomes a kind of tyranny, as Socrates memorably argues in Book 8 of the Republic. Such tyranny, like the tyranny of Creon, like all tyranny, comes about when a person has become so addicted to their own mode of thinking that they utterly fail to realize that the people to whom they're applying their principles are living, breathing human beings. During your time here at Scheimer, you graduates a minute from now, the faculty has done its best to support your intellectual development while avoiding intellectual tyranny. We've encouraged your forays into realms outside those of the pure intellect. And if those of you who are visiting didn't know that before, after seeing Rhea's performance, you know it now. Through elective and tutorial courses, articulation agreements with other schools, writing week projects, and senior thesis advising, we've given formal sanction to your talent and enthusiasm for art, in the cases of Ben and Kate, music, in Michael's case, dance, in Rhea's case, at least briefly, film for Heath, and fiction for Alex and Kevin. We've given top priority to your intellectual progress throughout your Scheimer journey, but we've also recognized that we can do our best to foster that progress by treating you as creative as well as intellectual beings, and furthermore, as men and women with passions, desires, hopes, and fears, and all the other faculties that mark us as fully human. We've done our best to respond to the needs of your head, but also, when we could, to those of your heart. So even though it's a great compliment when Scheimer graduates return to say to us, their former professors, "Thank you for helping me understand Plato, or Euclid, or de Beauvoir," it's a far greater compliment when they tell us, "Thank you for changing my life." Those compliments are especially gratifying to us because we know, in our heads and in our hearts, that it's in our nature to join not in hate, but in love. Thank you. Mr. Fourth President, since Heath has been here, it's time to come forward and award the diplomas.